10 recent archaeological discoveries that defy scientific explanation. Hello and welcome to Ancient History. My friends, for thousands of years, civilizations have risen and fallen, leaving behind buried cities, unopened tombs, mysterious artifacts, and countless traces that time itself seemed to have erased. Yet the deeper archaeologists dig beneath the earth, the more they realize that history is far more complex than what has been written in textbooks. Some discoveries have completely changed the way we understand the past, while others have puzzled even the world's brightest minds for decades, with no definitive explanation ever found. Archaeology is more than just the search for ancient objects, it is the key that unlocks the story of human history. Every broken pottery shard, every set of human remains, and every inscription carved into stone is like another piece of a massive puzzle revealing civilizations long gone. But not every piece fits neatly into place. Some discoveries challenge everything modern science believes it knows, overturn centuries-old theories, and raise far more questions than they answer. In today's video, we'll explore some of the strangest and most unbelievable archaeological discoveries ever uncovered. Mysteries that have kept scientists debating relentlessly and nearly driven them to the brink in their search for answers. From mysterious ancient ruins and artifacts of unknown origin to tombs containing details that defy imagination, each discovery has the potential to make you question everything you thought you knew about human history. So, are you ready to join me on a journey back through time to uncover the secrets that still lie buried deep beneath the earth, waiting to be revealed? If you are, let's begin with our very first discovery right now. 800-year-old mummy found inside a food delivery bag in Peru. What do you think is usually inside a food delivery driver's insulated bag? Probably hot meals, a few bottles of water, or simply the everyday items needed for work, right? But what if I told you that in Peru, a country famous for the archaeological mysteries of the ancient Andean civilizations, police discovered something absolutely no one could have expected inside what appeared to be an ordinary delivery bag? An ancient mummy that had survived for hundreds of years, carrying with it a bizarre story that captured the world's attention. Would you believe it? If not, then let's travel back in time to 2023 in the city of Puno, located in southeastern Peru, a region nestled in the Andes Mountains that was once home to many ancient cultures and remains one of the country's most important archaeological areas. It was here that Peruvian police seized a human mummy estimated to be between 600 and 800 years old after discovering it hidden inside the insulated delivery bag of a local food courier. The central figure in this extraordinary story is Julio Cesar Bermejo, a 26-year-old food delivery driver. According to authorities, Bermejo had been carrying the mummy inside the same insulated bag he normally used to transport food. What's even more surprising is that he wasn't out making deliveries at the time. Instead, he was spending time with friends at an archaeological park in the city of Puno. At first, no one would have imagined that the bag concealed a centuries-old secret. But during a routine patrol of the park, local police noticed that Bermejo appeared to be intoxicated, prompting them to pay closer attention to his behavior. Their suspicions proved justified. When officers inspected the insulated bag he was carrying, they uncovered something that left everyone stunned. Instead of food, the bag contained a human body preserved through an ancient mummification process. The mummy belonged to an adult. Its body had naturally dried out over the centuries and was curled into the fetal position, a burial posture commonly found in many ancient Andean cultures. For those ancient peoples, this position may have symbolized rebirth, representing a person's return to the earth after death. After the discovery, Julio Cesar Bermejo insisted that he had never intended to sell the mummy or profit from it. He explained that he had only taken it out because a friend wanted to see it in person. However, what intrigued many people even more was the way he had treated the mummy in his daily life. Bermejo claimed that the mummy had been kept in his home for a very long time and even believed it had been in his family for nearly 300 years. In a video that later surfaced, he revealed that the mummy was stored in a wooden box right next to the television in his room. Even more remarkably, Bermejo called the mummy Juanita and considered it to be a special spiritual companion. Speaking quite casually, he said, "At home, she's in my room. She sleeps with me. I take care of her." But the truth revealed by experts turned out to be completely different from what Bermejo believed. According to Peru's Ministry of Culture, the mummy was not a woman named Juanita. It was actually an adult male over the age of 45. Researchers concluded that the individual most likely came from the eastern Puno region in the Andes Mountains. In other words, the mummy Bermejo, affectionately called Juanita, was in reality Juan, a man who had rested beneath the earth for centuries before unexpectedly reappearing inside a modern-day food delivery bag. Following this shocking discovery, Julio Cesar Bermejo was taken into custody while Peruvian police launched an investigation to determine exactly how he had obtained the ancient mummy and whether it was connected to the illegal trafficking or looting of archaeological artifacts. However, even now, more than 3 years after the incident, the final results of the investigation have still not been publicly released. So who was this mysterious mummy? Why did it surface in such an extraordinary way, and how did it remain so remarkably well preserved? What do you think the answers are? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your theory. 2,800-year-old golden treasure discovered in the mountains of Kazakhstan. A glimpse into the luxurious lives of an ancient Saka royal couple. Amid towering mountain ranges and a remote wilderness seemingly forgotten by history, archaeologists made a remarkable discovery: an enormous treasure trove containing thousands of glittering gold artifacts. This was not the gold of a modern king, nor was it a legendary treasure from folklore. Instead, these priceless objects had remained buried beneath the earth for nearly 3,000 years. Even more extraordinary, experts believe they may have once belonged to a powerful royal couple from an ancient civilization that once ruled much of Central Asia. The astonishing discovery was made on the Ilike-Sazi Plateau, located in the Tarbagatai Mountains of Kazakhstan, a country in Central Asia. This region was once home to the Saka, an ancient nomadic people renowned for their exceptional goldsmithing skills and their rich, distinctive culture. It was here that archaeologists uncovered approximately 3,000 gold and precious metal artifacts dating back around 2,800 years. What makes this discovery truly remarkable is not just the enormous number of valuable objects, but also the story they appear to tell. Experts believe the treasure may have belonged to a man and a woman from the Saka royal family or noble elite. In other words, this site may be the final resting place of a powerful couple who lived nearly 3 millennia ago. As researchers examined the artifacts, they were astonished by the extraordinary craftsmanship displayed in every detail. Among the most impressive finds were bell-shaped gold bracelets, gold animal figurines, and necklaces adorned with precious gemstones. The discoveries were not limited to jewelry. Archaeologists also uncovered fragments of clothing decorated with intricate gold ornaments and highly sophisticated patterns. The fine details on each piece demonstrate that Saka artisans possessed an exceptionally advanced knowledge of metallurgy and jewelry making. Despite having no modern machinery, they were capable of creating masterpieces of craftsmanship that continue to amaze experts today. Can you imagine it? Nearly 3,000 years ago, high in the vast mountains of Kazakhstan, ancient craftsmen patiently shaped each piece of gold by hand, creating jewelry that represented far more than wealth. These exquisite objects symbolized status, power, and the deeply held beliefs of a civilization that disappeared long ago. Yet the story of this treasure still contains a major mystery. Archaeologists hope to eventually discover the remains of the couple believed to have owned these magnificent artifacts. However, they have not yet decided to fully excavate the tomb, as the site requires careful study to avoid damaging the invaluable evidence that still lies beneath the ground. Professor Zainullah Samashev, who leads the excavation team, explained that the large number of valuable artifacts recovered from the burial site strongly suggests that it once held the graves of a high-ranking Saka man and woman from the noble class. According to researchers, the Ilike-Sazi Plateau was once one of the most important regions inhabited by the ancient Saka. The area contains around 200 burial mounds scattered throughout the Tarbagatai Mountains. Over the centuries, many of these tombs were looted by grave robbers who carried away much of the treasure they once contained. Even so, archaeologists remain convinced that this landscape still conceals countless undiscovered secrets. Undisturbed tombs may still preserve the remains of important Saka figures, along with countless priceless burial goods waiting to be uncovered. The 2,800-year-old golden treasure found in the mountains of Kazakhstan is far more than just another archaeological discovery. It serves as a gateway to the past, allowing us to glimpse the extraordinary wealth, masterful craftsmanship, and political power of an ancient civilization that once flourished in the heart of Central Asia. Hundreds of 3,400-year-old artifacts discovered on a volcanic hill in Hungary. On the summit of Somló, a volcanic hill in Hungary, an extraordinary archaeological discovery has revealed the mysterious lives of people who lived there more than 3,400 years ago. Using modern laser scanning technology and metal detectors, archaeologists uncovered at least 6 hidden metal hoards buried around this ancient settlement, which once served as a center of daily life and political power beginning in the early 15th century BC. Over the course of more than a year of research, archaeologists excavated more than 300 artifacts, most of which date to the Late Bronze Age, 1450 to 800 BC, and the Early Iron Age, 800 to 450 BC. The discoveries include finely crafted jewelry, weapons, and military equipment that clearly reflect the warrior culture of the society that once flourished here. The oldest artifacts have been dated to approximately 1400 to 1300 BC. However, most of the recovered objects belong to the period between 1080 and 900 BC, when Bronze Age civilization was at its height. These artifacts demonstrate the inhabitants' remarkable achievements in metallurgy and their sophisticated metalworking techniques. The discoveries were not limited to metal objects. Researchers also unearthed valuable materials such as amber beads, fragments of woven textiles, animal hides, and tusks from both wild boars and domesticated pigs. Together, these finds provide a broader picture of the community's daily life, economy, and cultural practices. Somló was far more than just a volcanic hill. It appears to have been an important archaeological site that may have served as the power center of an elite warrior society. Archaeologists also discovered substantial grave goods within early Iron Age burial mounds, suggesting that the area may once have been home to a ruling tribal or noble elite that controlled the surrounding region. The weapons and jewelry found at the site were valuable not only for their material worth, but also as powerful symbols of authority, social status, and cultural development over many centuries. Perhaps the most significant aspect of the Somló discoveries is that they provide valuable insight into the crucial transition between the Late Bronze Age and the Early Iron Age in what is now Hungary. This was a period of dramatic change, as new metallurgical technologies transformed the way people organized their societies, produced weapons, and governed their territories. The people of Somló may have belonged to a tribe or clan led by elite warriors, helping lay the foundation for new systems of political power that would shape the region's history. Even so, the true identity of these ancient inhabitants and many details of their lives remain a major mystery. To better understand their origins, social relationships, and historical significance, archaeologists plan to continue conducting more in-depth research in the years ahead. These discoveries not only open a new chapter in the archaeological history of Hungary, but also contribute to our understanding of the development of prehistoric European civilization. Today, Somló stands as a remarkable archaeological treasure, preserving a fascinating story of humanity, power, and transformation across thousands of years, one that continues to unfold with every ancient artifact brought to light. 8,000-year-old boat-building workshop beneath the waters of Britain may be the oldest in the world. If someone asked you where humanity's oldest secrets might be hidden, what would your answer be? Giant pyramids, ancient caves, or tombs buried deep beneath the earth? All of those are certainly possible, but sometimes history is hidden in the last place anyone would expect, beneath the ocean floor. You see, over thousands of years, the sea has quietly concealed the remains of an ancient civilization until archaeologists unexpectedly uncovered a wooden structure that could change everything we thought we knew about prehistoric boat building. Near the coastal town of Yarmouth on the Isle of Wight, England, in the United Kingdom, archaeologists from the Maritime Archaeological Trust discovered a section of wooden flooring dating back approximately 8,000 years to the Mesolithic or Middle Stone Age. Researchers believe the structure may be the remains of the oldest boat-building workshop ever discovered anywhere in the world. An 8,000-year-old wooden boatyard? It sounds almost unbelievable, doesn't it? For decades, many people assumed that Stone Age humans used only primitive tools and survived mainly through hunting and gathering. How could they possibly have built sophisticated wooden structures using advanced craftsmanship? Yet history is filled with mysteries that continue to challenge our understanding, and the discovery beneath the waters off the coast of Britain is a perfect example. Rather than confirming long-held assumptions, it tells an entirely different story, one that is forcing scientists to reconsider several long-standing theories. According to the research team, the remains consist of approximately 60 to 70 wooden timbers carefully fitted together in multiple layers to form a large wooden platform. What makes the discovery even more remarkable is that the timbers were not simply placed side by side at random. Each piece had been carefully cut, shaped, and crafted before being assembled into the structure. To determine the site's age, researchers used radiocarbon dating along with tree ring analysis, and both methods produced the same conclusion. The structure was built approximately 8,000 years ago. In reality, clues to this remarkable discovery had begun emerging many years earlier. As far back as the 1990s, local fishermen working near the waters off Yarmouth repeatedly hauled large wooden planks up from the seabed in their fishing nets. Not long afterward, scientists also discovered several hard stone objects believed to have been tools used by prehistoric people. Those scattered discoveries raised the possibility that an ancient structure might be buried beneath the seafloor. However, it wasn't until modern surveys were carried out using diving equipment and advanced underwater archaeological technology that the mystery gradually began to unfold. Detailed analysis revealed that the timbers had been cut and shaped with remarkable precision, demonstrating an extraordinary level of woodworking skill among Mesolithic people. That is precisely why this discovery is so significant. Until now, researchers believed that woodworking techniques this sophisticated did not appear until the Neolithic period, around 4,500 BC. But if the submerged structure near the Isle of Wight truly was built 8,000 years ago, then the timeline for the development of advanced woodworking will have to be pushed back much farther than scholars once believed. Archaeologists have long known that boats were a common means of transportation during the Stone Age. Evidence for this comes from ancient cave carvings as well as traces of trade conducted over waterways. In fact, the oldest known boat previously discovered was found in a marsh in the Netherlands and dates back approximately 10,000 years. However, evidence of a dedicated boat-building workshop from such an early period has been almost non-existent. That makes this newly discovered site in Britain even more extraordinary. The structure lies approximately 36 feet beneath the surface of the sea, and according to researchers from the Maritime Archaeological Trust, it is the best preserved Mesolithic wooden structure ever discovered in Britain. What's even more fascinating is that thousands of years ago, this area wasn't underwater at all. When the workshop was built, the site was part of a broad river valley, and the Isle of Wight was still connected to mainland Britain. Only after sea levels gradually rose over thousands of years was the entire region submerged, unintentionally transforming the structure into a remarkable time capsule preserved beneath the sea for nearly 8,000 years. Perhaps the ocean itself has been history's silent guardian all along. 4,000-year-old rock painting in Australia reveals compelling clues about the possible existence of extraterrestrials. Imagine this for a moment. One day, you step inside an ancient rock shelter and find paintings of human-like figures with enormous heads, deep black eyes, no mouths at all, and strange halos surrounding their heads. What would be the first thing that comes to mind? A god? A visitor from another planet? Or simply the imagination of people who lived thousands of years ago? If you don't have an answer just yet, then come with me to the Kimberley region of Western Australia. This is the home of the famous Wandjina rock paintings created by Australia's Indigenous peoples, artworks that are approximately 4,000 years old and depict figures with exactly those remarkable features. Even after thousands of years, these paintings remain on the rock walls, quietly preserving an ancient story that modern humanity still does not fully understand. Have you ever noticed that nearly every ancient civilization left behind images of its gods? The ancient Egyptians worshipped Ra, the Maya revered Kukulkan, and for the indigenous peoples of Australia, these extraordinary beings are known as the Wandjina. According to their traditional beliefs, the Wandjina were not ordinary humans. They were powerful creator spirits responsible for forming the land, rivers, and humanity itself. In indigenous Australian spirituality, the Wandjina are also regarded as the spirits of clouds and rain. They are believed to have come from the Milky Way during the Dreamtime, the sacred era considered to be the beginning of the world. According to these traditions, the Wandjina helped shape the earth, established the laws that people should live by, taught humanity how to live in harmony with nature, and maintained the balance of all living things. Researchers estimate that the Wandjina paintings are about 4,000 years old and were created following a prolonged period of drought. For the local indigenous communities, these are far more than works of art. They are sacred symbols deeply connected to the beliefs of their ancestors. That is why, generation after generation, the paintings have been carefully repainted and maintained to preserve both their spiritual significance and their cultural traditions. However, what has captured worldwide attention is the unusual appearance of the Wandjina themselves. The figures are typically portrayed with unusually large heads and upper bodies, striking round black eyes, no mouths whatsoever, and a distinctive halo surrounding the head. Does that description sound familiar? To many people today, these figures bear a remarkable resemblance to the way extraterrestrials are commonly portrayed in popular culture. As a result, numerous theories have emerged, suggesting that these ancient paintings may actually record encounters between prehistoric humans and beings from outer space. Supporters of this idea argue that the oversized eyes, unusually proportioned noses, and glowing halos closely resemble the classic image of aliens found in books, movies, and modern science fiction. For that reason, the Wandjina rock paintings have repeatedly become the focus of debates over whether extraterrestrial visitors may have come to Earth thousands of years ago. However, this is where we need to be especially careful. As of today, there is no scientific evidence proving that the Wandjina paintings actually depict extraterrestrials. These theories are based primarily on visual similarities and the imagination of modern observers rather than on archaeological evidence. Furthermore, many scholars argue that interpreting the Wandjina as aliens may unintentionally misrepresent or even disrespect the spiritual beliefs of indigenous Australians. To them, the Wandjina have always been sacred creator spirits inseparably connected to their history, ancestors, and cultural identity, not beings from a distant planet. No matter which theory you believe, one fact is difficult to deny. The Wandjina rock paintings remain one of the most valuable cultural treasures of indigenous Australia. They reflect a profound connection between people, the land, nature, their ancestors, and the spiritual world, a connection that has been preserved for thousands of years. Perhaps the greatest mystery surrounding these 4,000-year-old paintings is not whether they depict extraterrestrials at all. What continues to fascinate us is that every person who stands before them seems to see a different story. So what about you? When you look into the mysterious black eyes of the Wandjina, do you see the sacred creator spirits of indigenous Australian tradition? Or do you believe they could be a message sent from the stars? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's discuss it together. Heaven-sent treasure revives lost history, hidden inside two ships buried for centuries. Did you know that history can sometimes be incredibly surprising? Some treasures aren't hidden inside chests overflowing with gold and silver, nor are they buried deep within mysterious ancient tombs. Instead, they lie quietly beneath the earth for hundreds, even thousands of years, simply waiting for the day when someone accidentally uncovers them. What's even more fascinating is that these priceless discoveries often turn up in the most unexpected places, beneath a busy street intersection or inside an active coal mine, for example. This time, one such remarkable discovery took place in the city of St. Augustine, Florida. While carrying out an infrastructure project, an archaeological team from the Florida Department of Transportation, FDOT, was surveying the intersection of King Street and State Road A1A. At the time, no one suspected that beneath what appeared to be ordinary soil lay a true heaven-sent treasure dating back to the 19th century. Everything began when the experts noticed traces of wood buried underground. Their archaeological instincts told them these were not ordinary pieces of timber, and they were right. As the excavation expanded, the team was astonished to uncover the intact hull of a wooden boat measuring about 20 feet in length, still resting beneath layers of mud and soil. Alongside the boat, archaeologists found a pair of shoes and several coins. small artifacts that proved invaluable in helping researchers determine both the vessel's age and the story behind it. To preserve the discovery, the archaeological team carefully dismantled the boat one plank at a time, cleaning every piece before transporting it for detailed study. According to their initial assessment, the boat had likely been abandoned in the area many generations ago before gradually becoming buried beneath layers of sediment. Ironically, being deeply buried and almost completely isolated from the air helped preserve the wood in remarkable condition despite the passage of hundreds of years. But if you think that was the most extraordinary discovery, the next story is even more fascinating. Not long ago, in Serbia, a country in southeastern Europe, coal miners accidentally made one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of recent years. While working in an active coal mine, they unexpectedly uncovered an ancient ship that had been lost for approximately 1,700 years. Unlike the small boat discovered in Florida, this vessel was enormous. It measured approximately 66 feet long and 11.5 feet wide, with a flat-bottom design resembling a cargo barge. Experts believe it once served as a large transport vessel capable of carrying valuable goods or important cargo destined for Viminacium, one of the major cities of the Roman Empire. Based on preliminary research, archaeologists estimate that the ship dates to the 3rd or 4th century AD. That means it had remained buried beneath the earth for nearly 2,000 years before finally being rediscovered by modern humans. Excavating the ship, however, proved far from simple. After spending centuries protected in a cool, damp, and dark environment, the ancient timbers had become extremely vulnerable to sunlight. Even brief exposure to open air and high temperatures could cause the wooden planks to crack and deteriorate rapidly. For that reason, throughout the excavation, archaeologists continuously sprayed the ship with water to maintain its moisture and protect the fragile wood until more advanced conservation techniques could be applied. The vessel is especially significant because of its connection to Viminacium, one of the Roman Empire's most important commercial and cultural centers in the Balkan region. The ancient city was founded during the 1st century AD and flourished for centuries before being devastated by the Huns in AD 411. Later, during the 6th century AD, the Byzantine Empire rebuilt Viminacium. Unfortunately, that revival was short-lived. By the end of the 6th century, the city was attacked and destroyed once again by the Avars of the Eurasian steppe, gradually fading into history along with the ships that had once docked at its harbor. What's truly remarkable is that both discoveries, one in Florida, United States, and the other in Serbia, remind us that history still lies quietly beneath our feet. Something as ordinary as road construction or a routine day of coal mining can unexpectedly open a doorway into the distant past. So it's entirely possible that at this very moment, beneath modern cities and familiar fields around the world, countless other heaven-sent treasures are still waiting patiently for the chance to tell stories that have remained buried by time for hundreds or even thousands of years. What do you think? Could there still be countless forgotten chapters of history hidden beneath our feet? The 40-ton gold and silver treasure from history's most valuable shipwreck, the Atocha. Hidden beneath the crystal-clear waters off Key West, Florida, lies an extraordinary story of tragedy, perseverance, and triumph over time. The story of the shipwrecked Atocha and the enormous treasure worth hundreds of millions of dollars that remained concealed for more than 3 centuries. This legendary ship, once the pride and hope of the Spanish Empire, was carrying 40 tons of gold and silver, about 71 pounds of emeralds, and countless priceless artifacts from the resource-rich lands of South America. But fate had other plans. Just days after setting sail, the vessel was sent to the bottom of the sea. On September 5, 1622, a violent hurricane sank the ship, claiming the lives of 265 people. Only a handful of survivors managed to stay alive by clinging to pieces of the ship's drifting sails in the open ocean. For more than 60 years, ships dispatched by the Spanish government searched unsuccessfully for the wreck. Their efforts were ultimately defeated when a second hurricane scattered what remained of the Atocha even deeper across the sea floor. It wasn't until the 20th century that hope returned. An American farmer named Mel Fisher turned the dream of finding the treasure into his life's mission. Beginning in 1969, Fisher and his treasure hunting team spent years diving in the waters off Florida. They gradually uncovered clues, silver bars, bronze cannons, and other artifacts, as if each discovery revealed another piece of an invisible treasure map. But fate tested him once again. Just days after one of their most significant discoveries, Fisher's wife and son were killed in a boating accident while searching for the treasure. The loss was devastating, but Fisher refused to give up. He continued the search as though destiny itself had bound him to the Atocha forever. Then, at last, came the breakthrough. In July 1985, after 16 years of relentless searching, Fisher's remaining son, Kane Fisher, discovered what the world had been waiting for. Beneath the deep blue water, the wreck of the Atocha emerged like a reef made of gold and silver. The silver bars bore markings that matched the ship's original cargo manifest, providing undeniable proof that this was indeed the legendary vessel. The treasure inside stunned the world. There were massive gold bars, rare emeralds considered even more valuable than diamonds, including an 884-carat emerald described as one of the largest and finest gemstones in the world, valued at more than 100 billion Vietnamese dong, along with exquisite jewelry, antique silver spoons, and even bezoar stones, mysterious objects once believed to possess the power to neutralize poison and worth tens of thousands of dollars each. But the celebration was short-lived. The state of Florida quickly intervened, demanding that Mel Fisher surrender 25% of the treasure to the state. Fisher refused, insisting that the discovery belonged to him and his team alone. He took the case to court. The legal battle lasted 8 years. Finally, on July 1, 1992, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled in Fisher's favor. He was officially recognized as the rightful owner of the entire Atocha treasure, a landmark victory for determination, unwavering belief, and a dream that many had once dismissed as impossible. Today, the Atocha is remembered as more than just the world's most valuable shipwreck, earning a place in the Guinness World Records in 2014. It has become a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and unshakable determination. Most of the investors who supported Mel Fisher eventually became millionaires. Yet the true value of this remarkable story was never the gold, silver, or precious gems. Its greatest treasure is the extraordinary determination to pursue what seemed like an impossible dream for an entire lifetime. The mysterious metal monolith that appeared and then vanished in the Utah desert. It all began on November 18, 2020. While flying a helicopter to conduct a routine count of bighorn sheep, a group of local officials spotted a bizarre metallic object standing alone in the middle of the rugged landscape. It wasn't a boulder. It wasn't a piece of wreckage from some machine. Instead, it was a three-sided metal monolith, standing approximately 11 feet tall, made of polished stainless steel. Its shiny silver surface rose straight out of the desert floor as though someone, or something, had placed it there from outer space. The mysterious structure bore no identifying marks whatsoever. There were no inscriptions, no symbols, and no nearby equipment or structures connected to it. It was simply there. In a place rarely visited by people, the sudden appearance of such a precisely constructed object immediately set social media ablaze. Researchers, meanwhile, were left asking countless questions. Who put it there? Why was it placed in such a remote and desolate location? And how could such a large, heavy object have been installed without anyone noticing? Before any convincing answers could be found, another unbelievable event occurred. On the night of November 27th, just days after it was discovered, the mysterious monolith suddenly disappeared. It left behind no obvious trace. There were no eyewitnesses, no surveillance footage, and no explanation. The Utah Bureau of Land Management confirmed that the metal structure had been removed that evening, but stated that it had played no role in taking it down. Officials described it as private property and said they had no authority over its removal. That announcement only fueled even more speculation and confusion. The mystery of how the object had appeared was now joined by an equally baffling mystery surrounding its disappearance. Experts quickly began analyzing the situation. They pointed out that transporting an 11-foot-tall stainless steel structure into the middle of the desert would have been anything but easy. It would have required specialized vehicles, multiple people, specialized equipment, considerable time, and a great deal of effort. Yet no one reported seeing anything. No one captured it on camera, and no individual or organization stepped forward to claim responsibility. To many observers, that defied ordinary explanation. Some experts suggested that it might simply have been an unauthorized art installation, similar to the intervention art pieces that have occasionally appeared in unusual locations around the world. Even if it were art, however, the questions remained. Why choose such an isolated corner of the Utah desert? And if it truly was an artwork, why remove it so quickly before anyone publicly claimed or acknowledged it? Then came an even bolder and far more controversial theory. Some people suggested that the monolith might have been connected to extraterrestrials. Supporters of this idea proposed that the object could have been placed there by beings from another world, perhaps as some kind of cosmic antenna, an experimental signal device, or simply a marker of their presence. They argued that if extraterrestrials possessed technology far beyond our own, installing an object like this and removing it without leaving a trace would be entirely possible, much like the countless UFO reports that have surfaced over the years. Of course, scientists emphasize that this remains nothing more than speculation. However, in the absence of an official explanation, many people believe that every possibility deserves consideration. The Forgotten City, hidden deep in the jungle. No one knew it ever existed. Deep within the dense Arabuko-Sokoke forest on the northern coast of Kenya, Africa, a place seemingly filled with nothing but birdsong and thick vegetation, lies something no one would ever expect. A vast ancient city that was once the thriving heart of an entire civilization. Its name is Gedi, a name that is both familiar and mysterious. Although the city was discovered many years ago, it remains one of the greatest unsolved puzzles in modern archaeology. Gedi was not a small village hidden in the forest. On the contrary, the surviving ruins reveal that it was once a bustling city, home to approximately 2,500 residents beginning in the 13th century. What remains today is still astonishing. Solidly constructed houses, a palace, mosques, tombs, cemeteries, wide streets, and even warehouses all spread across an area of more than 7 square miles. By any standard, that was an impressive size for a medieval African city. But this is where the mystery begins. Despite being such an important center of trade, culture, and political power, Gedi was never recorded in any known historical documents. It does not appear in local historical records. It is absent from Arabic and Persian writings. Even the Portuguese, who arrived in nearby Malindi at an early date, never mentioned Gedi in their travel accounts. Perhaps even more puzzling, the city was never preserved in local folklore, despite the Swahili people's rich tradition of passing history down through oral storytelling. So, how could such a prosperous city disappear from history without leaving a trace? Archaeologists have searched tirelessly for answers. Instead, they uncovered an even greater mystery. Around the 17th century, the people of Gedi vanished completely. There is no evidence of war, no signs of disease, no indication of a natural disaster, the kinds of events that normally force entire populations to abandon their homes. There are no human remains, no collapsed buildings, no traces of destruction, only an intact city left behind for time, moss, and the forest winds to slowly reclaim. Some local residents believe that Gedi is haunted. According to these traditions, the city was once inhabited by malevolent spirits, which is why it was mysteriously abandoned. Other oral accounts speak of an ancient curse that forced the inhabitants to leave in silence, leaving behind an empty city as a warning to future generations. And if you look closely, you'll notice another fascinating contradiction. Why would a major trading center be built deep inside a forest, far from the coast and away from any major trade route? That question has led some researchers to believe that Gedi may have served a very unusual purpose, perhaps as a secret settlement or a refuge for an elite community that history somehow forgot. Today, Gedi is recognized as one of Kenya's most important archaeological heritage sites. Yet the mysteries surrounding it remain unsolved. Despite dozens of excavations, scientific studies, and reconstruction efforts, the truth behind why this remarkable city was forgotten, and especially why its inhabitants suddenly disappeared, still seems to lie hidden somewhere within the forest or buried in the shadows of history itself. So what do you think happened to Gedi? Could there have been an unknown force at work? Something we still don't understand today? Leave your theory in the comments below. Who knows? One of your boldest ideas might just become the key to unlocking a chapter of history that has remained buried for more than 700 years. The gold-laden ship that vanished for nearly 5 centuries. Can you believe that in the middle of a barren desert where sand stretches to the horizon and there isn't the slightest sign of the ocean, you can find the wreck of a ship that disappeared nearly 500 years ago? It sounds like something out of an adventure movie or an unbelievable legend, but it is the remarkable true story of the Bom Jesus, or Good Jesus, one of the oldest and most valuable shipwrecks ever discovered off the west coast of Africa. Join me as we travel back to the 16th century to uncover the mystery of this ship's fateful voyage and the legendary treasure hidden beneath the sands of the Namibian desert. The Bom Jesus departed from Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, on a fateful Friday, March 7, 1533. At the time, the world was in the golden age of maritime exploration, and Portugal was one of the world's greatest naval powers. The ship was carefully outfitted for its journey and loaded with treasure, gold bars, gold coins, and copper ingots, to support an ambitious trading expedition to the distant lands of western India. Then, without warning, the Bom Jesus vanished without a trace, leaving behind a mystery that remained unsolved for nearly half a millennium. It wasn't until 2008 that the fate of the ship finally began to come to light, and in the most unexpected way imaginable. While mining for diamonds near the coast of Namibia, inside the restricted Shipwreck region, an area once tightly controlled by German mining companies, a group of workers accidentally uncovered the remains of an ancient ship buried deep beneath the sand. Rotting wooden timbers, glittering gold coins, and numerous metal artifacts from centuries past slowly emerged from the desert floor. Not long afterward, archaeologists confirmed the incredible truth. This was the Bom Jesus, the ship that had been missing for more than 475 years. The scene looked like something straight out of a real-life treasure vault. Nearly 2,000 perfectly preserved gold coins, tens of thousands of pounds of copper ingots, and countless priceless artifacts were recovered, including a matchlock firearm at least 500 years old, cannons, compasses, swords, astronomical instruments, religious books, and even an early diving bell. Everything had been preserved in astonishing condition by the desert sand and the region's extremely dry climate. Most remarkably, just 1 week into the excavation, archaeologists uncovered a treasure chest filled with gold coins, undeniable proof of the ship's identity. According to archaeologists, the Bom Jesus may have met its fate after sailing too close to the Namibian coast during a powerful storm. The hull struck submerged rocks, causing the ship to list before eventually capsizing. No human remains were discovered at the site, suggesting that most of the crew may have escaped or were lost at sea. As the ocean gradually retreated and centuries passed, the wreck became buried beneath layers of desert sand, resting silently like a forgotten secret waiting to be rediscovered. What makes the Bom Jesus so extraordinary is not only the treasure it carried, but also its design and its role during the height of Portugal's maritime empire. It belonged to a class of large, durable, and highly efficient ships built specifically for long-distance voyages across distant oceans. Its route, from Lisbon around the southern tip of Africa and onward to India, was one of the most important trade routes in Portugal's 16th century strategy for expanding global commerce. Today, the Bom Jesus is considered the oldest shipwreck ever discovered in the waters of sub-Saharan Africa. Because of its immense historical and archaeological value, the excavation site is now under strict protection, with public access heavily restricted. It continues to serve as an active research site for specialists from the South African Institute for Maritime Archaeological Research. Dr. Dieter Nolli, who led the excavation along with many international scholars, continues working to unravel the remaining mysteries surrounding this extraordinary ship. The story of the Bom Jesus is a powerful reminder of history's ability to astonish us and of nature's remarkable power to preserve the past. A ship loaded with gold disappeared into the ocean, only to be found centuries later beneath the sands of a desert. That is more than just an archaeological discovery. It is a journey back through time, allowing us to witness one of the most fascinating chapters of a long-forgotten era. And who knows, perhaps somewhere beneath another stretch of dry desert sand on Earth, even more incredible secrets are still waiting to be uncovered. My friends, We've just explored a series of mysterious archaeological discoveries that have left scientists searching for answers for years, yet many of them still remain unsolved. Every ancient site, every artifact, and every mystery reminds us that human history still holds countless secrets waiting to be uncovered. It's entirely possible that somewhere beneath the ground, hidden from view, there are still discoveries capable of changing everything we thought we knew about the past. So, if you enjoy mysterious stories like these and want to keep exploring the incredible mysteries that surround them, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our future adventures. For now, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.